So the crowd erupts when you walk in. How did that feel?
Did it feel like sexual assault? Did you feel like you were assaulted sexually? I bet you're going to say sexual assault. Hello and welcome to my little experiment. This is a segment that I like to call From the Crapper. This is just some place I wanted to hang out, bring together some news articles or little video clips, some things that I find are either funny or just really full of shit. A place where I felt like I would be digging deep into the impacted bowels of stupidity and just kind of seeing what I dig out of it. I look forward to having some fun with this, and I hope you do too. So, without further ado, let's get to the experiment. You see, right off the bat, we're starting with some problems here because Al Roker and the people over at the Today Show, they couldn't even be bothered to learn how to pronounce this guy's name before they get him on camera. It's kind of an insult. They go with Pita Taufatofua.
Pita Taufatofua. Pita Taufatofua.
Now Al wants to handle a professional interview here, and let's see how this goes.
Well, Pita, I'm going to go with Pita. Okay. So the crowd erupts when you walk in. How did that feel?
See, now Al asks a serious and pertinent question considering the topic at hand. Now, I jokingly said that his answer would be sexual assault, but that's only because I know what the rest of this video is. So let's take a look at how this goes, and then we'll, at the very end, discuss.
It was crazy. I mean, it was 20 years worth of work to get me there, but it's sort of surreal. It's hard to describe. It was a crazy feeling.
I hear you have a lot of fun and have a little problem with the females in the Olympic Village.
You've got some oil for you have some oil for the ladies to put on
Very
you?
oily.
I do.
You hold that. Okay. Protecting his son, protecting him from sunburn.
Now, Pita, while they're oiling you down, you've had a lot of setbacks coming. You've had a lot of injuries, a lot of stuff's happened. You even had trouble getting here.
Yeah, it took me 20 years just to...
We are. Tell us more.
It took me 20 years.
You know, there are children watching, so Pita, thank you so much.
Oil myself.
We're going to talk to you a little bit more in our next hour.
Did that make you feel like you needed to call the police for him? Nobody asked this guy permission. This is sexual assault, if we're going to go with the definition that's been thrown in our face so many thousands of times before. Now, the performers in the Olympics, they are better than machines. They are physical perfection in so many ways. They've worked hard to get to this point. To have these jackals come up on stage and just start pawing at him is insulting to the amount of years that he put into this. The same goes for the women. They have built their bodies up, they have perfected themselves and trained so that they can compete against others, the other best of the world, and go out there in front of everybody else and they play stuff, and they're not object. Okay, let's get to reality because honestly, I don't fucking care either way. I don't have a problem with what they did to him up on stage there. They were a little bit crass about it, but I don't feel horrible for him. I don't feel horrible about the quote-unquote sexual objectification of the athletes at the Olympics. And like I said before, it was honest. They have built their bodies to perfection. They are the ideal body. Forget your posters up on the trains that say, "Are you beach body ready?" and throw everybody into a tizzy. The feminists complaining that it's not the ideal and it's unattainable. Guess what? It's not unattainable. The people at the fucking Olympics have attained it. So chew on that, bitches. I don't care that somebody's going to look at this guy here and think of him like a sculpted sexual object. That's what he is up there. He's a performer, he's an athlete, and he is a form of physical perfection. Shit, if I were a chick, he could bruise my fucking tonsils. Someone had said that there's no problem with objectifying the men because throughout history, it doesn't damage their financial or their power position, some such line like that. I'm not exactly sure what that quote is. But yeah, you're correct. It doesn't hurt them financially or in their position for whatever they're doing. But I also feel that it doesn't damage the women as well in the Olympics. Just because I'm looking at one of the women's very fine bodies, and I'm thinking of her as a truly sexually wonderful woman, does that make her any less of an athlete? Does she get less gold? Does she get less honor and glory for winning any medal that she gets? No. Nobody that objectifies the women out there is going to ruin their chance at gold. They'll still get it. They'll still win. They still bring glory to their team and their nation. We're not destroying anything. It's a double standard to want to have it one way and not the other. If you're going to try to eliminate the sexual objectification of one gender in the Olympics, don't bring it upon another one and play that childish game of, well, you did it, so I can do it. You're just making yourself look like an ass. Just accept it both ways, which at least one feminist has had a good sense about here. And this I'm quoting from anti-feminism Australia.com here. To malign male objectification as condescending and unfair while embracing the objectification of women is a problem. Athletes and performers' bodies are their tools, so I'm not calling for everybody to suddenly stop judging them on their looks or physique, but it's only fair that both sexes are objectified equally. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go Google Michael Fassbender penis. See, to me, that's reasonable, and I agree with that. Both sexes should be objectified equally, either equally that it is done or equally that it is not done at all. You just can't have the one and not the other. And this double standard has been thrown out there a few times and been called out by a few very popular sources like Cosmopolitan. They've been called out on their double standards. You know, in one article they'll talk about men who objectify women are effing horrible, while on another article they'll describe the 36 Summer Olympics bulges that deserve the gold, and they get called out on it, which I think is great. And there's more examples of double standards out there trying to say that it's okay to objectify one but not the other, and usually falling back upon that childish, well, you did it so I could do it bullshit. And it really doesn't make any sense. It shows a distinct lack of intelligence and maturity. Because even for Cosmo, they double down on their double standard nature here with a very recent article of theirs about Henrik Rummel. And I'm just going to go through the first paragraph here. It's really, really funny. Rower Henrik Rummel is an Olympic medalist and Harvard graduate. He's also the guy whose bulge, pictured above, went viral at the 2012 Games in London, arguably catapulting Olympic peen spotting into a medal-worthy sport of its own. In our continuing coverage of all things bulge, Cosmopolitan.com spoke with Rummel about his Olympic body, all of it, and why he's okay with it being a talking point, although in his mind, there's nothing really to talk about. And they end the paragraph here with, "Oh, Henrik, but there is." Now, if we flipped this gender in another direction, and we had a female athlete that they were talking about, or not them, Cosmo would not do this to a female athlete. They would only do this to the men. Let's say another news site had very open mind, and they did this about a woman. And instead of saying that they were catapulting Olympic peen spotting into a medal-worthy sport of its own, let's say they were catapulting Olympic titty spotting, or in the continuing covering of all things bulge, they wanted to say it was the continuing coverage of all things camel toe. I mean, who would flip their fucking lid on this? It would be, one, Cosmo, and two, I think just about almost any feminist anywhere. And that's the double standard that I find to be such bullshit. I found it to be a funny paragraph. And I did find the humor in it. It didn't offend me at all. But what bothers me, like I said, is just that double standard. I just think it needs to be done away with. Just accept that we're going to ogle both sides of the Olympic spectrum. Well, maybe it'll get a little better by next time. We've got 4 more years to the next Olympics. And in the meantime, we can watch the Winter Olympics, although they're going to be a lot more covered up. So, you know, maybe not as much to look at. Maybe that's why it's not as popular as the Summer Olympics. I don't know. This is just what I consider some of the bullshit. I don't think it's going to change, although I don't think there's a problem with it. Just, everybody, keep doing what you're doing. If it brings in people watching the Olympics, they're interested in showing their show and making their money as well. The Olympics are a business just like anything else. I mean, it's great, it's noble. They want to be athletes, they want to compete against the rest of the world. That's great. They also want to make money. That's a business to them. And if they got to exploit some of the performers, it's going to happen. It's not going to change. In fact, it may just even get more sexually explicit in the future by little bits at a time. But I don't doubt that it would happen. So just get used to it. Have an open mind. Don't cry and whinge about the other side doing what you're already doing. Because we all do it. It's like masturbation. Just fucking get over it. Well, that's my little rant. I just needed to get that off my chest. I hope you had a little bit of fun watching. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up down below. If you want to leave a comment, even one that doesn't agree with me, that's all fine. I would love to hear from you. And if you want to continue to see more videos and be updated as to when they're going to be posted, please subscribe to me and follow me on Twitter. I look forward to seeing you next time. So until next time, I'll see you next time.